Each month has been a huge improvement, so MAF has been working really well for me. So I was due to do my fourth MAF test 4 days before Tarawera. For those of you who have been following the channel over the last few months, you'll know that I've been preparing for the Tarawera Ultramarathon 50-kilometre trail event. You'll also know that I've been using the Maffetone method to prepare for that event. And I sort of tossed up whether I would actually do this MAF test because it was so close to Tarawera. In the end, I thought, why not? Because we're only running to our maximum aerobic heart rate under the MAF method. Each month I've been doing a MAF test, and I've had some great improvement over the first 3 months, and was due to do it this 4 days before Tarawera. A little bit later in this video I'll show you what went down, and if you watch through towards the end of the video, you'll also see the comparisons of all my MAF tests that I've done over the last 3 or 4 months. So you can compare where I've come from, and then we'll dissect them a little bit more towards the end of this video. Let's have a look to see how the fourth MAF test went. So I'm about to do my fourth MAF test. I did toss up whether to do it this month because it's only 4 days until Tarawera, but thought, what the heck, let's do it. Mixing it up a little bit this time as well. Doing it in the morning. Done the first 3 MAF tests in the afternoon. Thought I'd just try it in the morning today and see what sort of difference it makes. The only problem is it's pretty windy this morning. I think that that's going to have a little bit of a bearing. We'll see how we go. Done the first 3 MAF tests at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's 5:30 in the morning now. Going to be interesting to see what sort of difference it does make. It'll be interesting to see just how the morning and afternoon match up. Okay, fourth MAF test done, 8 kilometres, 10-minute warm-up, 10-minute cool-down. I don't need to see the results of the other 3 MAF tests that I've done over the past 3 months. That was a lot quicker, almost 2 minutes quicker for the 8K. So that puts me around about 4:46 per kilometre pace, which is well under the 5-minute kilometre pace that I did last month. It was windy, had about 5 kilometres of headwind or crosswind, and that sort of affected the heart rate, especially a little bit later on in the run. The last 2K I was pushing that 132 heart rate limit for the MAF. Just remember that my MAF is my age, which is 53, so that's 180 using the MAF formula, minus 53, which is 127, plus 5 beats for regular exercise. All that information's on the Maffetone website. I'll put the link to that website down below. But yeah, really happy with that. Thought that the wind might have affected it this morning, that a little bit cooler. It certainly makes a difference with the heart rate to running in the heat of the afternoon. I forgot to mention too that the pushing that 132 heart rate limit for the MAF, the last 2Ks I was probably right on or just a little bit over that 132. But you know, I kept checking the pace, trying to bring it back down, so I wasn't too far over. It was pretty comfortable. It's really ramming home now that the MAF is working. I've been on MAF now for about 3 months. The results are there to see, for me especially. Yeah, so I don't think that's going to be too taxing for Tarawera in 4 days. I think it was pretty comfortable. Could have ran a lot quicker. Sort of shows that my fitness is in a pretty good spot at the moment. Delve a little bit deeper into the stats when I get back home. So there, you can see from those results there's been a continued huge improvement in my MAF tests from the first one I did back in November to the one that I've just completed. With November's there was an average of 5 minutes 58 seconds per kilometre and an average heart rate of 131, which improved to 5:14 per kilometre and a 131 heart rate average in December. Last month was down to 5 minutes per kilometre and a 133 heart rate average. And this latest MAF test has continued the improvement down to 4:46 per kilometre and an average heart rate of 132. So I'm really surprised that the rate of improvement is still there. I know that when I did the first MAF test back in November, it was only 2 weeks after I started running again after the broken ankle. So 3 months out with no running and then 2 weeks of very easy running before that first MAF test. I just wanted to set a bit of a benchmark so I could work from that, and each month has been a huge improvement. So MAF has been working really well for me. I have adapted it to suit my needs because of the preparation that I needed for Tarawera. There was some frustration early on, but you know, I think the results are there for pretty plain to see that if you stick at it for long enough, you can get the results. For me, it's worked perfectly, and you know, I can't be more happy with it. Going forward though, I don't know how MAF will sit moving towards my goal of trying to get back into running a sub 3 hour marathon. I know that I'm going to have to do some higher intensity workouts. I hope to incorporate some MAF running into future training plans. I will talk more about that as we get sort of deeper into marathon preparation. I'm really happy with the results. This latest MAF test was a surprise. I don't know whether running from afternoon compared to the morning, which I did for this test, made such a difference, but I know the afternoon MAF tests were a little bit warmer and the conditions for this latest MAF test were much cooler. Maybe that's got something to do with it. So with this latest MAF test, when I first started, got about 200 or 300 metres into it and ran into a mate, Sean, who ran 5 kilometres with me. So whether his presence increased that pace, I'm not really sure, but when you compare the faster pace to how the heart rate was reacting, it seemed to be sort of well within the parameters of the maximum aerobic heart rate. So now as I move from running the ultra trail into marathons, I've got to find a way to fit MAF into my running going forward. I really want to continue with the MAF tests each month. I think they're a great way of judging how your level of fitness is and how your running is going. That is something that I will definitely continue to do. So I think that rate of improvement has been because I was really coming from a low fitness base, and obviously my running's been pretty consistent over the last 16 weeks. So my fitness has improved greatly since November when the first MAF test was done, and I think that's why I saw such a huge leap between the MAF test 1 and MAF test 2. You know, coming from a 5:58 to a 5:14 minute kilometre average, and that was just because I was consistent with my running, and I've continued that right through this preparation for Tarawera. I'm just surprised that over the last 3 MAF tests I've been able to continue that rate of improvement. So I would have thought that by now my fitness would have probably levelled out a little bit, but obviously it's still improving. How much further I've got to go, I don't know. Maybe when I start introducing some intensity into some of my runs, that pace per kilometre, sticking to that average heart rate or the average MAF heart rate may continue to fall, but it'll be interesting going forward to see if that's actually the case. So pretty sure that For the next MAF test in March, there will be a couple of higher intensity sessions in there, so watch this space and see if that rate of improvement continues.